I think the thing I'm bitching about most this week really is there's two ideas. I'm going to pick this one, which is mainstream, the continuation of the mainstream media class's obsession on not only continuing to bring Trump up in every conversation, but also the narrow focus, which is now defined political and really news coverage in this country that, again, is exclusionary of the rest of the world. And, Peter Baker wrote, a tweet, at this point in office, Trump has given 5 news conferences, Obama's given 2, Bush 3, Clinton 5, Biden's given 0. So, of course, there is a real story here about communication by a president and sort of, what the reason is. And there's interpretations you could make about why they would choose to hedge the press conference and so on. But AP also did a piece, the other day about Biden flying home to Delaware and linking it to travel restrictions. And to me, what is blowing my mind is you now see naked participation in and a sort of Stockholm syndrome that's happened where they've abandoned, there used to be this illusion of caring a bit about international news, caring about a variety of topics that were covered, even with all the sensationalism of whatever the political machinations are. But you would think that Trump was the only president we ever had. You would think that he was the only president we ever had. And in addition to that, this sort of, what's the news value in that information? And who sits there at the AP and disingenuously says that somehow a president using Air Force One has anything to do with travel restrictions, anything to do with the optics of that at all? Everyone knows the president has a plane, and everybody knows the president has money, and it's not a shocker that he would do that or use Marine One. But this is not, and this is the problem, is this is the type of trap that's created where then it backs you into the corner of defending Biden or, I guess, or being like, well,
don't make us do that.
Yeah. And it's like, that's not what it's about. But what it is about is, how is it that Myanmar is going through its second or third week of massive protest? You have environmental, you have environmental topics coming up, and seagrass is disappearing in large swaths of the Pacific. There are, sorry.
No, I was going to say, there was like some report this week that was out about the coverage of climate was like 0.4% of all news coverage in all mainstream outlets. Yes, there's a Trump industrial complex that, Anthony, you benefited from.
I did.
So how dare you?
I'm a war profiteer. I did benefit from it. But I always had a recipe, which was we had to give back more than we took. Not monetarily, of course. I kept all that. But in terms of our coverage, and I think we, as the show, and at least the book, I think maintained that integrity. I just am really, I'm not surprised, but I'm disillusioned at the idea that that there's no desire to return, to at least at a minimum, like I said, giving lip service to subject matters. That's completely abandoned. And a press that sat there and cowered at every conference for 4 years suddenly has the stones to do what? To continue to bring Trump up because they're desperate. They don't know. They want it. Listen, one thing that I will say is true is they want and still want this cataclysm. Part of what for-profit news does is it sweats cataclysm. It wants roving bands of people killing people in the street. It wants the Capitol to be taken. It wishes.
Yeah, January 6th, they were like, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Chuck Todd there's a reason the news desk kept banging up and down like this during the whole.
Oh, God. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Bitchuation Room podcast live stream. And while you're here, why don't you just subscribe to this channel? I promise it'll be good.